There are nights when time itself seems to stand still, when the minutes crawl by in a way that feels almost unnatural. That night was one of them. I had no idea that my seemingly uneventful night shift would turn into the most terrifying experience of my life. My name is Alex, and I'm 26 years old. I've been working the night shift at a small security firm for the past 2 years. The job was usually uneventful. Just me, the cameras, and the silence of the empty office building. But that night was different. It started like any other, but by the end, I was questioning everything I thought I knew about reality. The shift began at 10 p.m., just like always. I was stationed at the main desk in the lobby, monitoring the security cameras that covered the entire building. The place was deserted after hours. Just rows of cubicles, dark hallways, and empty conference rooms. By midnight, the building felt like a tomb. Around 2 a.m., something unusual happened. One of the motion sensors on the third floor tripped, triggering an alert on my monitor. I checked the camera feed, expecting to see nothing, but instead, I caught a glimpse of something moving at the far end of the hallway. It was faint, just a shadow, but it was enough to make my heart skip a beat. I switched to the camera closer to the motion, but by the time it came into view, whatever it was had disappeared. I tried to convince myself it was a glitch, but deep down, I knew something was off. The building was supposed to be empty, and the cleaning crew had left hours ago. I decided to check it out. Armed with a flashlight and my walkie-talkie, I headed up to the third floor. The elevator ride was slow, the kind that makes you acutely aware of every creak and groan. When the doors finally slid open, I was greeted by a long, dark hallway that seemed to stretch on forever. I walked slowly, scanning the area with my flashlight. Everything was quiet, too quiet. The only sound was the soft hum of the building's ventilation system. As I reached the end of the hallway, I noticed something strange. A door slightly ajar, leading to one of the meeting rooms. That door should have been locked. I pushed it open and stepped inside, half expecting to find someone, or something, waiting for me. But the room was empty, just a long conference table and rows of chairs. The only thing out of place was a single chair, pulled out as if someone had just been sitting there. I was about to leave when I heard it. The sound of footsteps, faint but unmistakable, coming from the hallway outside. My pulse quickened as I stepped out of the room, only to find the hallway as empty as before. I felt a chill run down my spine. I wasn't alone. I hurried back to the security office, trying to shake the feeling that I was being watched. Once inside, I locked the door behind me and returned to my desk, my eyes glued to the monitors. For a while, nothing happened. The cameras showed the same empty hallways and vacant rooms. But then, around 3:30 a.m., the lights on the third floor started flickering, one by one. The cameras struggled to keep up, the feed glitching as the lights blinked on and off. And then I saw it. A figure, standing at the end of the hallway, shrouded in darkness. I couldn't make out any details, but I could feel its gaze piercing through the screen, watching me. The figure started to move, slowly, deliberately, towards the camera. I could feel the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. My hand hovered over the phone, ready to call for help, but I was frozen, unable to tear my eyes away from the screen. As the figure approached, the feed cut out, plunging the monitor into darkness. I felt a wave of cold fear wash over me. I knew I had to get out of there, but the thought of leaving the safety of the security room was paralyzing. Then, the lights in the security room flickered, and the monitors came back on. The figure was gone, but I knew it was still out there. I grabbed my things and bolted for the exit, not daring to look back. The building felt like a maze as I ran through the darkened hallways, the sound of my own footsteps echoing in my ears. Every shadow seemed to shift. Every corner held the promise of something lurking just out of sight. When I finally burst through the front doors and into the night air, I felt like I could breathe again. I didn't stop running until I was safely inside my car, the engine roaring to life as I sped away from that place as fast as I could. I quit the next day. I couldn't go back. Not after what I'd experienced. To this day, I don't know what I saw that night. Whether it was a ghost, a figment of my imagination, or something else entirely. All I know is that I wasn't alone in that building. I share this story not to scare you, but to warn you. Sometimes the night shift isn't just about the solitude and the quiet. Sometimes it's about facing things that defy explanation, things that stay with you long after the shift is over. If you've ever experienced something similar or know someone who has, I urge you to share your story, because sometimes the things we can't explain are the ones that haunt us the most.